Welcome. This is On the Line, and we are back on the road with a nice little special episode all together. We're going to be talking about some travel tips, primarily about airport tips, because if you're ever worried about being at the airport or just having an inefficient time at the airport, we've got you covered. We're going to give you some tips to make it a nice, smooth process. We're also going to be talking about where we are and a little bit of the hotel that we're staying at this beautiful resort. Without further ado, let's travel on down to our fellow on the liner, Crystal.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our podcast. And over here we have our other host, Steven.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Steven. We are here. And our host for today is Jun.
Yes, I am the host. I get all the best episodes. And we're here live at
San Juan,
Puerto Rico.
And we are now on the line.
And also just a friendly reminder, if you do want to skip ahead, you can check out the description down below. We have our chapters mapped out for you. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can revisit, you can jump around. It'll make your podcast viewing experience much simpler that way.
All right, so we're just going to get right into it. We are in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and how we got here, because this is an island, is we ended up flying here. And we're gonna actually just start from, what do you do to prepare to just begin your trip? Your vacation just doesn't start, you got to get there. So how do you prepare for your trip? If you guys haven't already, if you have a plane that is not seat specific, you don't have to pick your seat specifically, and you got to check in and you have to line up in order, much like a Southwest kind of thing. If that is how you're traveling, make sure that you set that alarm of when you need to check in. I know people are like, oh no, I'm not gonna forget that. You're probably gonna forget that. And especially if your flight is in the middle of the day or something like that, or super early in the morning, you gotta make sure that you get that locked in so that you can get the early stuff, because you know what they say, if you're in the C boarding group or you're in the late boarding groups, you're gonna have to check your bag in. Make sure
I'm
you
always
set that
nervous if they're like, oh, you should check your bag in because the overhead cupboards are
capacity.
Full. Yeah. It makes me nervous because I'm like, is my luggage actually going to get to the plane? That's definitely a good one. Definitely check in on time. Watch the time hit your plane time 24 hours before and press that button. But basically button smash, because sometimes they'll tell you that it's an error. I don't know why.
Error.
But you just got to keep pressing it and you'll eventually get your number. And don't be afraid of the ones where it's first come, first serve, and you just have to pick your boarding group instead of having assigned seating. I know people get nervous about that, but honestly, I kind of like choosing where I sit and just leaving it up to the gods and whether or not I check in on time.
I do also like the comfort of having assigned seating, because
I do like that a lot.
To a certain extent, they'll just tell you. You can even choose, pick and choose, or even pay to upgrade if you want a window aisle or the middle seat, or however the plane's laid out. I know they also have some aisle seat, a middle row or a middle column for aisle seats altogether. If you're someone like me or Crystal, we tend to get a little anxious or nauseous if we're not near a window. So we try to either pick a window seat or that middle seat for one of us. Just so that we're closer to the window. However it happens, even if it's assigned seating or if it's first come, first serve, or if it's Southwest where you kind of have to check in early, and then you're gonna be able to just be part of the earlier boarding groups. If you are one to have a preference as to where you want to sit on an airplane, make sure you dive into those details and get the seat that you want.
So you guys are windowers.
I'm a windower.
We're windows. Yeah, I like the window.
I'm definitely a windower. Even in the super long trip, because what I prioritize over anything when I'm on a plane is going to be the ability to just sleep uncontested of anyone trying to walk through me.
Oh, true.
The aisle's nice. If in a long trip, you get to stand up and you get to walk around, or you have easy access to a bathroom if you need to use the bathroom. If I'm going to go into a plane, I'm going to knock out. And when I knock out, I don't want to wake up for anything.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of my biggest preferences, is just having to, go through the whole plane ride unimpeded by some other guest. That's basically why I prefer a window or that middle seat. Because if I'm in the aisle, I don't get too nauseous anymore or dizzy or how it was before. So I don't really care where I sit per se, but it's more so for the comfort of like if I fall asleep, I don't have to like wake up to someone trying to move to go to the bathroom or someone trying to get the attention of one of the attendants. So that's basically the reason why I prefer the middle or the windows.
We also prefer like sitting in the front of the plane because when you're deboarding, you're like one of the first to get off.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I don't know, like there's people that say like a part of the middle, back, or front is like the safest. I actually don't know if any of that's
Yeah.
true, and I
I'll
actually
risk
don't
my
know which
life to
one.
get off that plane earlier. And
I
I never check in a bag. I mean I try never to check in a bag. So like as soon as if I can get off early, then I'm good to go faster. If you're checking in a bag, then obviously you gotta wait for the carousel and do that whole process. So maybe that doesn't matter too much. But if you are just backpacking, you're in the front, you get out, you're good.
Yeah, I guess if you're like in a rush or like you just want to get in and out of the airport super fast, I wouldn't check a bag and just get a carry-on and then use like a good sized backpack as your personal item. Because typically you would get a carry-on and then a personal item, and your backpack can get pretty big before they tell you that it's. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say that a backpack's too big.
want to say for me, so it's more of where I'm going. If my destination requires me to bring like product or more
Liquids.
equipment or like just I don't know an extent. If I'm going to be staying somewhere for a longer period of time and I can't just like bring a backpack, then I'm gonna check in a bag. But those are the things that I feel like just inevitable. I don't want to like have like 100 pounds of carry on and then try to like stuff it into the
Running to the
airplane,
airport.
running to the airport. Yeah, it gets a little tough trying to maneuver through the airport.
Especially if you're a solo traveler and you like at all ever want to use the bathroom, you're gonna have to put your bag like on a table
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
the bathroom, like the baby center or something like that, or you can put it on the ground. Your call, but I would pick the baby table maybe.
I remember for whatever reason I was traveling on a plane solo, and then like I was also very late in the boarding, so I ended up sitting like literally front row, first row of the plane. I was staring at the wall. There was nothing in front of me except for the little Southwest logo, whatever the heck it was. And then I had like a backpack with me, and they ran out of storage space. So what they did is they like the flight attendants took it and held it in their storage area,
Mm.
and it was like
Interesting.
in view of where I was sitting, so I didn't have to worry if like they were
Hmm.
doing something sketchy or my stuff was being looked at or whatever it was. I sat front row on this plane. They took my bag for me, so I didn't have to worry about getting it after the plane lands. But then also once we landed, I was one of the first people off the plane. It was amazing. So I'd say like those are the kind of luxuries that you don't really know exist, when you're jumping on a
I get
plane.
really really late.
But it's it's really nice when you get to be in the front of the plane toward instead of in the back, because when you're in the back, a lot of people have to get off before you, and then you're sitting there waiting basically just to get off the plane. And from when the plane lands, sometimes you could be like on the tarmac for like 20-30 minutes at a time sometimes if there's some traffic. So you don't want to be sitting in the back of the plane when those things happen, because then it's essentially like a 45-minute process to just even hop off the plane. So if you can pick your seat, pick it closer to the front of the plane. If you can pack lighter than heavier, do it. If you can check in a bag, if bags are also free, or if you can upgrade to check in some bags, I say do it. It's also a huge benefit to check in a bag, because then you could bring a lot more stuff and even some more product. People look out and try to get those things for yourself.
So do you? I mean, as far as you checked into your flight. Another element of travel is the packing process. I don't know if you guys have a quick packing tip, but mine is always pack extra little like bag, like little plastic bag,
Yep.
or like just this I don't know, garbage bag or something like that, where you could just put your kind of dirty clothes into. For me personally, it's just one of those things where like I'd rather not have my like used clothes just packed in there with my cleaner clothes, and especially if you don't unpack during the trip, everything just lives in your
It,
bags.
Yeah.
So the plastic bags is mine. If you're gonna pack stuff, just that it's so easy. They crumple up into almost nothingness, and then you can just store it anywhere. Just pack like 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that I plan for. Like when I, as almost even before I finish packing my clothes, I pack like 5, 6 like grocery bags or like plastic bags just
Same.
so that I can like throw all of my dirty clothes in there. If I'm planning on going like swimming or something, then
Wet
I want to
clothes
say I
Yeah,
bag.
swimming
have
trunk.
like
Yep.
at least 2 extra bags for my wet clothes just so that, I have all of my clothes separated from my clean clothes.
My packing tip when I'm packing for a trip, I'll go in like my notes or just like write something down and I'll list out the days that we're going to be on this trip and then all the activities that are going
Yeah.
to be happening. And then I pack per day. So, like, the first day, we're actually going to the zoo. So, I have the zoo outfit. Then, like, if we're going to a nice dinner, I'll have a dinner outfit and then sleeping clothes. The next day, what's that activity? Are we swimming? Are we changing? Etc. And then like sleeping clothes again. Because I know some people will just do like, okay, 5 nights, five,
That's me.
2 to 3
Yeah,
sleeping
that's me.
clothes. I like to like pack per day and see like exactly what we're doing every day. And then here and there, I'll pack a couple like extra outfits. So I think that's like a way you don't overpack. Because sometimes you're like, I'm not really sure what to pack, so I'm just going to pack
Oh, I
everything. But
overpack.
if you pack per day and by activity, so much easier.
Crystal's really good about planning out that schedule just to make it easier for me to pack, my clothes. The way I pack is I just grab all the clothes that I would ever wear on vacation and I throw it onto the couch or something and then I like pick and choose outfits. And then Crystal's like, so what are you gonna wear for, the day after? Well, in this case, the day after the wedding. And I'm like, I have no idea. She's like,
I
what
was
if you're gonna go on an excursion? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna wear one of these. So
for
yeah,
this trip, he was like done packing. He's like, I'm done packing. I'm like, do you pack a outfit to wear like on the airport going home? He's like,
I'm
nope.
like,
I'm like, can't forget that. What are you gonna wear
I
going
was just
home?
gonna wear the same outfit that I wore to the outfit
Two come.
when I
Yeah.
Well,
left.
what if
Two
Yeah,
like
come and two go.
someone threw up on you or you threw up on
Yeah.
yourself?
I
I always feel like
mean,
I always have like what I call like alt shirts because like so usually bottoms,
Alt.
yeah, an alt shirt, because you
nice.
could like redo shorts or pants pretty easily,
Yeah,
and then you
Yeah.
just put like an extra t-shirt, say one for comfort if you were to be traveling versus or like I could put like an all white knitted shirt for something for like a nicer dinner so that you
yeah.
don't look like you're just wearing oh welcome to Puerto Rico shirt.
I definitely overpack my tops versus my bottoms just because I don't know. If ever anything happened, let's say I spill something on my shirt. I mean, I know it also happens where you could spill something on your pants, but I feel like pants are a little more interchangeable than tops. So I like to bring at least like 2 or 3 extra shirts or tops just in case.
And you never know. You could always split your pants doing something. I've heard it in stories. I've heard it in stories before.
One more tip for like checking or like having a check bag or honestly any bag. If you have valuables, get a TSA approved lock. Or if you're traveling internationally, I've seen like twice where I traveled internationally and I didn't have a lock on my bag. And then I opened my luggage and like everything's moved around, like things were taken out of pockets. And I'm like, are they searching for something? Or they're just making sure I didn't have anything like illegal to go on a plane. But it's kind of sketchy. So I would highly recommend finding a TSA approved lock just to protect any valuables, protect all your stuff, even if you just don't want people looking through your stuff. And also, your check bags are just like getting thrown here and there. You never know if like the zipper's just gonna
Pop,
fly open
explode.
and all your stuff is gonna
Yeah.
fall out. So get TSA approved locks. There's definitely locks that literally say TSA approved, and use those. Keep an extra key on you. Yeah, it's really helpful.
I want to say worst case scenario. You want to plan for the worst case scenario. You want to make all those checks. You want to get a lock for your luggage if you're traveling with a check-in bag. But also, I've learned just from people's stories when they tell me like their bags get lost or they arrive and then their bags get mixed up.
Gone.
Carry some extra clothes on your person. I've learned to keep like an extra pair of socks, extra pair of underwear on me. You could buy everything else. If, let's say, your bag just goes missing completely, you at least have a change of clothes to make it to the store to buy, an extra shirt, extra pants. You don't want to get caught, no extra clothes, and you're sitting here. It's like day two in the same underwear, same socks. So, try to prepare for the worst case scenario. Obviously, you don't want those things to happen, but, better to be prepared than to catch yourself in that situation.
I feel like I always bring all of my jewelry on my person on the plane instead of in my check bag because I feel like I can buy clothes, but my jewelry, like all my personal looking jewelry, like it's hard to just like buy more or like if you have like a
Replace
nice
it.
event that you're going to, like you
It
can't
doesn't hurt as much.
replace jewelry. So I usually pack all my jewelry in my carry-on.
I like to keep most of my personal items on my person. Well, I don't trust, even if I have a lock on my check-in bag, like, I just have that, that comfort, that ease of mind, that peace of mind that, I have that stuff with me.
Yeah, definitely. All electronics color come with me. I don't care. To wrap up the kind of the packing segment of this, I will say, if you are going on vacation to a nice place or really any vacation and you are planning to get some souvenirs, some souvenirage, account for that. If you
Yes.
have no
Yep.
space to add that and you have to, I don't know, like carry just like a plastic bag on to the plane, that gets a little hard to manage. To always have a little bit of extra space if you plan on buying shirts. If you, much like Crystal here, buys a thing for every person in her life when she goes to vacation,
I
make sure
just
you
think
have
it's
enough space for like
nice.
a couple t-shirts, a couple hats, maybe flip-flops in a bag. So have extra space for some Sauvignon action.
Souvenirs or pasalubong if you're Filipino.
Yeah, so we're all packed up now. We're gonna be heading to the airport. Do you have any tips about like day of, morning of, kind of getting to the airport?
I feel like even the night before, check how long it takes to get to the airport, whether you're driving or Ubering, like account. If you're driving on Google Maps, there's like an option where you can say leave at this time, and then it'll tell you like approximately how long it's going to take when you leave at a certain time. And they pretty much account for like the average amount of traffic that is typically on that day at that time. So you know like what you're working with if you're driving. Account for if you are parking at the airport, the time to park, the time to go to the airport with via shuttle. If you're Ubering and you're Ubering at a weird time, account for your Uber driver to be like 20 minutes before they get to your
Mm-hmm.
location.
Yeah.
So plan ahead of your travel to the actual airport.
Yeah. During the, I guess, more winter months, also account for parking garages, like your first option to maybe be full. So that's happened on a work trip where we tried to park the car and it was full and we had to go to maybe two other
Ye-
ones
Oh
before we found
no.
one. So, but I mean, we got there super early. So, I mean, no harm, no foul. But you never know if they're going to be packed.
More importantly, it's just like obviously understated that, I feel like, I don't know if it's because I live, in a bigger city, but the gold standard to arriving at the airport on time is 2 hours before your boarding time. So whatever your departure
Mm-hmm.
time is, typically 30 minutes before that is when your plane would be boarding their passengers. So try to get there 2 hours before then, just to account for any stoppages that may happen at the airport or before you even get to the airport. So whether you're traveling, by car, if you're commuting by train or bus, shuttle, parking garage, like Jen said, any way that you are planning on getting to the airport, plan to get there 2 hours before your boarding time. You don't typically need all the 2 hours to get ready to board the plane, but
We've had
again,
times where we needed the 2 hours because TSA sometimes is literally an hour and a half.
yeah,
And then you have to also check your bag. If you're not checking a bag and you're just going straight to TSA, maybe like an hour and a half.
yeah.
But you never know, depending on the time of day your flight is, if TSA is going to literally take forever and you might have to like bribe some people to let you cut them.
You can kind of plan for any unplanned or unexpected stoppages at the airport. Everything at the airport is a process, and so you have to respect what they do. You can't speed anything up just because your flight is 10 minutes from now. So make sure you're prepared to get there early. Make it a habit to just get there, with ample amount of time to just go around the airport, check in your bags or get some food.
I have some things about TSA. There's some TSA etiquette for you. you're going through TSA, take off your shoes, make sure you're wearing socks. If you are going to the airport, wear some socks. If you're wearing sandals, wear some socks. I know it's weird. You don't want to be stepping on the dirty airport floor. That's just gross. But when you're getting in line for TSA, grab if they have the little trays, put your stuff in there, take your laptops and your electronics out. Those go in a separate tray. Don't put anything else in there. Everything else goes in another tray. Put your shoes in there. You gotta make sure to push all your stuff into the conveyor belt that goes through the x-ray before you walk over to go through the TSA metal detector or whatever it is. You gotta make sure you push it through, or else TSA people are gonna yell at you. And then once you go through the metal detector thing, grab your trays and move to the section where there's benches and you can put your shoes on and take all your stuff and put it back in the bag. Don't hold up the line. I hate those people that
I
are
gotta put my
trying to
shoes on. I gotta
put
put my
their
shoes
jacket
on.
on, their shoes on, put their all right there, and then they're causing this whole
Back
backup. Take your stuff and go to the designated area where you can do all that, and then you can bring the trays back.
I've
Make it quick.
seen like so many times too as well. No matter how many times those TSA people yell at you to like take your shoes off and empty your pockets, make sure you don't have any jewelry, belts on, things
still
like
have
that.
it.
They literally still have stuff in their pockets, or they'll literally still have like their sunglasses on their head or something like that. And I'm like, dude, they literally
Get it
are
together.
yelling at you. Yeah, like come on, man, kind of get through this as quickly as possible. So make sure you're not one of those people. Take everything out of your pockets before you even get into TSA. What I do is I just put like my wallet in my bag. I put my cell phone in my bag. That way I could just, take all those things that are in my pockets, put in my bag, put my bag on the belt, and all I have to worry about is my shoes.
All right. So my tip kind of goes in line with that one. A lot of times when you're in a plane, having a sweater or a jacket is a good move. You use it as a blanket, and also if it gets too cold for you, you can, put it on. So what I like to do is have like a sweater or jacket that has kind of zippers on it. And as I'm waiting in line to get to TSA, like Steve said, he put it in his bag. I'll just put everything in my pockets, zip it up, and it just makes it so much easier. So if I put like my wallet and all that stuff, my earpod, my Apple Watch in there, and I put it into a zipper one, usually that's what the best one is, so that you can make sure nothing falls out, and you one swoop, jacket off, everything's off you, there's nothing on you anymore. Boom, jacket. And then it also helps when you're on the other side, like Crystal said, don't back up the line. All you do is pull out your jacket, your shoes, and you're good to go. And then you can sort yourself out later. Bring that like jacket with zippers, that hoodie with zippers, whatever you got, so that one thing comes off and you're clean.
This is where like fanny packs come in handy so well, because I can throw, like I said, my wallet in there. I'll throw my phone in there, headphones, jewelry, like sunglasses, things like that, all into the fanny. Throw the fanny pack on the X-ray belt, and then good to go.
If you are a two-bag traveler and this is how you want to get around, I would just be cautious that you could throw that fanny pack into one of the bags, because I know some of them will be like, no, that's your personal item.
Yep.
You could only have two things. So just have a little extra space to put that fanny pack if they count that.
Oh, and if you're having a carry-on bag and then a personal item, your pillow doesn't count. So you can have like a carry-on luggage, you can have a backpack, and then you can also have like your neck pillow, or I used to bring like a pillow pet with me to have me comfortable. A blanket also doesn't count. So you can literally bring like a neck pillow, a blanket, a carry-on, and a luggage. So they only count like bags. So if you really want to bring a pillow, it doesn't count. Don't think that you have to like only have a carry-on and a pillow. They don't count it.
Put everything into the pillow pack. Stuff it in there like a Halloween candy bag.
No.
I mean, I'll also say that after you go through TSA, even if you have a bunch of time left, I would recommend you just go to wherever gate you are, and if you're with people, leave someone there with your stuff, because I hate when I have to stand and just wait because there's no more seats left. So if you can just get your spot, something
Right
nice
away.
where you can be like in a corner, kind of away from people, that's a nice little luxury. So get to your gate first, set your ground, and then go and use the bathroom, go eat, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of the first things that I try to, check as soon as I either get to the airport or get past once I get past TSA, I like to check the board, check the flight board, make sure that my flight is on time. I essentially want to make sure that this flight still exists, right? So I check my
Wrong day.
flight. I check that,
actually tomorrow.
my my departure city is correct. My arrival city is correct. I make sure it's on time, or if it's delayed, I make sure that everything that I am updated with is currently updated on the board too, just so that everything I have the most current information. And then also I try to locate where the gate is before I try to make any moves in the airport. So I'll take a mental picture of where my gate is, then I'll go go to the bathroom or get some food or whatever, what have you. But I like to make sure I make those checks just so that I don't know if something were to happen, I know where I need to be and at what time.
Yeah, everything is time. So anything that changes is just a little extra time. You want to make sure you have that extra time accounted for. After you get onto the plane and you clap after it lands, because I guess people do that.
I don't know why.
I think something that people usually don't really think of until like super last minute is, oh, how do I get to where I'm supposed to be from the airport, and making that super smooth and easy. Depending where you are, they might not have Uber. You might just have to taxi it, but there's also shuttles and stuff like that. So just always look at the back end. Okay, how do I actually take all my stuff? I've packed 7 bags, and I need to get to my hotel. So just know that you have that other leg of the travel to actually get to where you're supposed to be for your vacation or your trip.
Yeah, they say you'll hear it once or twice throughout traveling in the airport. Do not take rides from any strangers, any
Those-
unmarked taxis, or, any of those people, because they'll be waiting, at baggage claim to say, "Hey, I could drive you," and it looks like it's just another traveler like me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I don't know who you are, because you don't know what they're about. I mean, they could be legit, obviously, you just don't want to be trusting anyone or everyone at this airport just because they say they can do something for you. Unfortunately, we have, for some reason, traveled with one of those unmarked taxi people. It was like, I don't know if it was
I
the
don't
3 of
remember
us. Your mom was with us, and then she's like, "Oh, there's a taxi right here." And then we followed her, and we realized it was one of these guys holding the sign. I was like, "I can drive
Did we
you."
get in it?
Yeah, we hopped in there.
I remember doing that like
I
in the
remember
city.
it.
I
And
don't
we were
remember
like-
doing it at airport.
We were like, "Why did we just jump in this guy's car?"
I literally don't remember
Oh,
that.
I think I do remember that. And they were packing the bags. We were putting the bags into the truck. And I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. This guy's got like an Escalator, or Yukon, or whatever the heck it was. And I was looking around, and I'm like, dude,
That's
who is this
sketchy.
guy? And
Yeah.
we realized
Don't do that.
we like just followed a random into a car.
They're gonna take you right to take your organs out.
Yeah, I don't even know if we had that second thought of like that it was that rando was cheaper than an Uber at the time, because like for whatever reason I just found myself getting into this guy's car. I'd like to say first and foremost, if you're traveling somewhere for an event, a specific event, and they have the dates mapped out for you, book early. You want to check the flights early, check the hotel early, so you can see those cheaper rates, those lower rates. It's definitely beneficial to you to book those things early, especially if you're planning on actually going to the event. So look into those details, early and often. You don't have to essentially buy your tickets on the spot, but keep an eye out for it earlier, sooner than later. Like for the trip that we are now, we were planning on coming, but we did not check those flights earlier. And same thing with the hotel. The hotel room block that our party had for us got sold out. So we're paying basically pedestrian price for this resort,
Pedestrian.
which you don't
Civilian
want to
price.
do. Yeah, we're paying civilian price for this hotel resort. Same thing with the flights. We were, banking on the prices to go down a little bit more, and then we kind of lost touch and keeping track on that. So we paid a little bit more than we probably could have, or should have. But lesson learned once
Yeah.
again.
I did book my flight way ahead of time, so I was good on that front. I got
Yeah.
it for like super cheap. That's a good last note as far as traveling. We wanted to just give you guys some airport tips. If you were nervous or anything about doing airport stuff, especially internationally, can be tough. So you want to give yourself some time and make sure that you are efficient and quick with whatever you do at the airport. You just want to be able to get on your flight and then get to your location. This shouldn't be the biggest thing in your trip. So make sure that you are good with the airport. Check back those tips. Use those chapters to listen back on anything that you might have missed. We're just gonna go into our trip here. We are staying at the nice La Concha Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah.
That's what this band is. It gives us access to these facilities here. It's really nice, as you guys can see. Why don't you go ahead and check out the view? If you've just been looking at our beautiful faces this entire time, just wake up and look around you. Nice,
See the
Beautiful.
infinity pool behind us.
beautiful infinity pool. And they have another infinity pool. And they have another infinity pool.
Yeah, they do.
They have a good amount of pools here. It's just a nice little resort. This is a U.S. territory, so this is not all inclusive, unfortunately.
Some people don't like all inclusive though because the food could get really repetitive or it's not as good. So if you guys aren't into the all inclusive resort food, a place like this, like where it's U.S. territory, I know there's like the U.S. Virgin Islands where they have resorts and they just have restaurants within the hotel you can eat at. These are a good option.
I personally love all inclusive food and drinks. I don't see any loss of quality in their food whatsoever. Maybe a little different,
A
but
little
I
bit.
wouldn't say any loss of quality.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, so we do not have all inclusive amenities at this resort per se. The food and the drinks are pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's always nice out in like a more tropical area when pina coladas and coconut water actually come in a coconut or a
Yep.
pina.
Oh,
But
yeah.
unfortunately, make sure that those things aren't what do we say?
Rotten.
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 We
They could
went
taste
to
a
like
little
this
foul.
restaurant and they had coconut and we're like, ooh, we want to drink coconut water out of a real coconut. And that was like, it was so rotten. It almost tasted carbonated and it had a
Carbonated.
very weird sour taste. Coconut water should not be carbonated.
Yeah.
That's when, it's for sure starting to get rotten.
Yeah, our family like ordered an extra one by accident, I guess, and so I was able to take a little sip of it, and I took a sip, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of gross." And then Crystal later on like started like tasting everybody else's, and she was like, "Oh no, those are really rotten." And I was like, "Okay, no." So I wasn't crazy; it was awful.
was a
And
little
then I
bit
tasted
sour.
hers, and it
Cause-
wasn't even really that much better, but it wasn't that sour, I
I'd
guess
like-
you could say.
To say we should have known, because when we walk in, there's like all these like
Coconuts.
empty coconuts just sitting in the corner. There must have been like 100 of them.
Who knows how long they've been sitting
Yeah,
there?
we didn't know how long they were sitting there, but like they ordered it, and then I saw them kind of just like putting coconut water into those empty coconut shells
I was like in a restaurant.
at a restaurant, and then they said it kind of tasted funky. I think I know why. They've been sitting there for a little bit longer than we known.
Surprisingly, the best coconut water out of a coconut that I've had, I think I've had it twice, is just like there's usually guys just walking the shoreline around
Yeah.
resorts. And they just have like their little carts and stuff, and they literally have a knife and they like cut the coconut
hack
for
it.
you.
Yeah,
And those have been like the freshest coconuts. So
that's
honestly, it's a little sketchy that they're just like walking around on the resort, but I think they have to have some type of permit to do that. I don't know.
Even
'cause
if
they're
they
just, like,
don't,
Even
like,
if
you
they
know that
don't,
they have
I
to
mean-
have good stuff, because if they had bad stuff, no one would get them.
true.
They kind of, it's like live and breathe by your stuff. Established restaurant, they can suck a little bit because people, they'll still come to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who's just selling it on the street. Like if it sucks, then like no one's gonna come.
they
No one's
might
gonna
get some
it.
get back
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
But you can trust the guys on the beach, usually. So
typically
Typically,
I would.
They might-
Unless
I
they
wouldn't
look
say they're
sketchy.
too
they might do a
sketchy.
little dance and a little display for you to make sure you buy their stuff. But if you just look away, you're fine.
yeah.
So as far as San Juan, the reason why we're here is for a wedding. Before we kind of go into, I guess, our little conversation of, is Puerto Rico really a travel destination spot, kind of, we have our thoughts on that a little bit. We're gonna talk about what made this trip the trip was the wedding that we went to. It was an amazing wedding.
Beautiful.
John, Danny, fantastic wedding.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely,
Thank you for having us.
absolutely great wedding, and the resort in which you guys had it in, it's the probably the best in the island here. I would guess it's
I
amazing
would
here.
also guess the same thing.
It was a really nice venue. It's nice because, like, it's a hotel. So the venue, the ceremony venue, the reception venue, and your accommodations are all in one spot. So it's really easy for all of your guests to just travel to and from all the locations
Yeah.
that are in your wedding venue. That's really how our cousins had it. And it was really convenient and really nice. If you forgot something, you could like run to your room really quick or run to go to the bathroom really quick. So that's what I really liked about having their wedding in this resort because pretty
Everything
much
was on
everything you
site.
Easy
needed
access.
is all in one spot.
It was perfect.
And it's like one of those things where like, oh, it's the wedding day. Wedding's not till 5. You can still go take a trip somewhere, and you can also swim in the beach. As you
Swim.
can see, the beach is right here. You literally just walk onto the property, onto the beach, go into the infinity pool. You're good to go because your shower's right here. It's right in the hotel.
I think that's what I like the most about it. We landed the day before the wedding, and so they had a little like welcome party for all the guests that were traveling. That was also on site. It's like literally steps away from the lobby. The reception was steps away from the lobby, and so was the ceremony. I mean, everything was like essentially so close to my room just because it was all on site. So thank you, Jen and Danny, for working that out. Thank you, Concha. It was a great experience.
And so into the more Puerto Rico version of this Puerto Rican uh this Puerto Rican travel thing. So yeah, we are here in San Juan. We're repping it, RN. A
Yeah,
little
they
San
are.
Juan action. So a little,
It was a
stay
little
in the resort kind of
sketchy.
thing.
Yeah, it was more. I mean, I think that's a lot of resorts where resorts are where you pretty much stay for the whole trip. You shouldn't like leave your resort that much. This place feels a little bit more safe than some places because I know, like, for example, Turks and Caicos. It's the resort areas are super nice, but if you leave, it's the island's pretty much like all in poverty and it's not very safe or like not much to see outside of the resorts. At least San Juan, when you go out, there's like they have an old San Juan area where you can look at like the old forts. There's like colorful buildings. There's a lot of like culture and food to see. So that's why I kind of like that this resort you can actually leave and it's not like 100% unsafe to leave. Because I feel like we've been to places where people are like, don't leave the resort, go
Yeah,
airport to resort, resort to
and
airport.
don't leave the
This
hotel.
place is not too bad. We actually left the resort. We would walk around the streets. At night, it was a little sketchy. Um, we were a little bit afraid to stand like right outside of the hotel. I think we were scarred because I think the matron of honor of the wedding, we heard she got shot by a BB gun waiting for
Waiting for her
food.
Chinese food.
And
It's
we're
like a
like,
kidding, half
oh.
kidding thing where we're like, oh, okay, we might get shot. And then like cars would pass by and we're like, okay, let's just stand here.
Yeah.
And there's this like restaurant across the street, the very one where the maid of honor got shot. There's just like bullet holes in the windows, and we're like, I'm feeling a little scared. But I
So,
think that was just
yeah.
like during the night. We were out there at like midnight, so that's why we were feeling a little scared. I think just make sure you know like what's going on in the area.
Yeah, I think we're very much like we like when we go to a city we want to see the city, but and this one is a little less polished than I guess we're used to, or a little less polished than we kind of wanted a island paradise to be. But obviously that's with many resorts, and also even if you're in Chicago or New York, you go to a certain spot, it's very unpolished. It's one of those things where we're very much like we want to go and do a bunch of stuff in the city, check it out and see what it is, but we were kind of locked in into staying, or like kind of the best part would be to stay in the resorts.
resort.
It was really nice once I got into that mode. When I switched to that trigger, it was like, okay, so we're just gonna beach, we're just gonna infinity pool, and we're kind of just relax,
Yeah.
maybe take some naps. Then I got warmed up to kind of that resort life kind of vacation, but it did take a switch because I do prefer to like
Activity.
have a bunch of different activities. And there were a couple things that you could do, like there's like a canoe thing
There's
that like
excursions.
at
Yeah.
night, where you can see like colorful, like I guess like
Luminescent waters.
stuff like in a pond
Yeah.
around here, which does sound cool. Not really my thing because I don't like kayaking. And
I
then there's
do not
also
like
like this
open
hiking
water.
trip that is a little more involved with water stuff. And
Waterfalls, stuff like
I
that.
wasn't. I said this before that like it's a little. It looked a little too shoe and watery for my taste as far as a hike. I like my hikes to be a little more dry, so I kind of crossed that off my list. So after we crossed some of those things off our list, the things that we did wanted to do, like see the city and stuff, we did get to see a little bit, and it was just a little. We were like, it's not
It's
this
not
not
that
exactly what
much
we
to
want to
see.
see.
But it's not bad. If you're looking for a place where you're just trying to relax and you're just trying to have the beach vacation, this is this is a good option.
Very good
Um,
option.
and just like any resorts, like Jen said, there's excursions. You have to pay extra for those, obviously. Make sure you pack clothes for that type of
For it, yep.
thing.
Extra
Um,
shoes, if it's shoe and watery.
and actually, in San Juan, which is pretty cool, we heard that this is they have the only rainforest in the United States,
Yeah, it's part of the
which is
U.S.
pretty cool.
territory. So if you want to see a different geographical kind of ecological climate than the other part of America will offer, then this is definitely your chance to go see it. But again, shoe and water. So I don't know. Maybe are you supposed to wear sandals? I don't know. But you're hiking, so you would have to wear hiking shoes. So then that involves socks. And then I guess
Yep.
you're gonna be stepping in water, so your socks are gonna get wet. So bring extra socks. But then your shoes are wet, so bring extra shoes. I don't know. That's why I didn't want to do it. But but yeah, resort life is nice here. Definitely really nice.
Yeah. The two really nice like cherry on tops to this resort was like the little things that the workers would do. Like, well, one morning we were at the pool and they were walking around with like cold towels,
Yeah.
which was really nice
Yeah.
because it's like
I packed it
the
in.
Pretty
sun out here
temperate
is
here.
no joke. The sun is beaming.
And it's
Like,
pretty humid in Puerto Rico.
I think I got sun poison at some point.
It's pretty
The sun
humid.
is so strong. So it was so nice. Like they were walking around with these towels and they're cold and you could put them on your face while in your pool. That was so nice. I really liked it. It felt like very like resorty spa.
Yeah.
And then another thing, we were like in the pool yesterday and this guy was walking around with like sorbets, like ice cream sorbets, and it was nice like little refreshment just on the pool. It was
That
just
was great.
complimentary. The one thing though that I wish like this resort had was like an actual spa, like where you can get a massage or some like a facial kind of thing, get your nails done. I think that's like something like if you're having like a beach vacation, it's nice to like maybe have a day where
Pamper
you like
yourself.
have like a spa day.
Yeah.
They don't have that here, so I think that's one thing that I wish they did have.
And I think also like an asterisk to our part is we got here on a Sunday and we're leaving on a Thursday. So like instead of the people that came here like on a Friday and we're here on Saturday, they had like DJs here, which is really cool. The pool side was definitely, I hear, very lit. Um, they have a bar and they move like the tables in the lobby so that there's like a dance floor.
Club.
But when you are here on a Tuesday night, they don't quite do that. And also there was the asterisk of the entire forecast is like thunderstorm rain. And it's obviously it's thunderstorm rain for today, but it's really nice out. So there's pockets of really, really good weather that, you might not see when you're looking at the weather report, but when you're there the day of, it's super nice. So,
Yeah.
don't, if it says it's thunderstorming all week that you're on vacation, just know that there are probably good pockets, like hours and hours where there isn't rain.
That was kind of one of the things that, when we talked to one of the people who were from San Juan, they were saying that, you can't really trust the weather report,
know.
too far ahead. I think what he said was like a day ahead is as far as you can go, whether it, with the accuracy of the weather report, it could, and even if like in our case, it was saying it was thunderstorming all day on the weather report, even, that morning. Throughout the day, we'd only have pockets of like rain where it like
Yeah.
rained for 20 minutes or rain for an hour. it would dissipate like so fast, and
Clear
we'd
back up.
have like clear skies like this. I mean, there's some clouds here, but I mean, we wouldn't get like the thunderstorm that we were expecting that's going to be lasting the entire day. So, sometimes those weather reports aren't as accurate as they say they are. I mean, obviously, but in this case, it luckily changes pretty often. And so we got a lot of sun, a lot of humidity, not so much, thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that the weather was not what the weather app said, because I'm like, we're going to be in clouds all day, rain all day. But we actually got really nice weather for a majority of the time, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
At least a majority of our like active hours. Even if it's riptide season and the waves look a little rough, I implore you, just go ahead, just take a step into the water. That is probably for me is way more fun when the waves are coming and they're churning
You're riding
Yeah.
waves.
versus still water. So I mean, you might not be able to just sit there and kind of bask in the water and in the sun and in the salt, but there's nothing like a little bit of fear when you see a slightly big enough wave kind of pressing over and about to splash you in, and you might get a good show if somebody's a little weaker in the core.
People were getting killed out there. We're getting
I'd say that was one of my biggest highlights outside of the wedding when we were on the
The waves are so
resort is that
strong.
we were
Let's
on
just
the
say, if you remember in SpongeBob when Patrick was crawling he didn't have enough water in Sandy Cheeks' dome, and he started crawling out to the door. Imagine that, but somebody trying to get out of the waves on the beach side. That was the most entertaining thing I've ever
careful out
seen.
there. It's really fun, but the waves are
we were
strong.
essentially fighting for our lives.
Yeah.
It was hard to keep balance because
Definitely fun.
the current is so strong and the waves are so tall. I think they were getting up to like 10, 15 feet sometimes, but that was a great experience here in San Juan too. It was just, being in the ocean.
Yeah, and
Water
waking
is-
up to that view is so nice, especially when it's
Yeah.
super clear. It's just a good sight. It's a great sight. I guess before we wrap up this episode, we're going to talk about, I don't know, maybe it's because we don't do this too often, or we are not from a place where this is, huge. There is a Casino Del Mar that is part of this hotel.
Oh,
A
yeah.
nice little touch for us, because we don't typically gamble too much or are exposed to it that much. But when we do go to a casino, we do have a little bit of fun. And I mean, two of us don't have fun, and then one of us has a lot of fun because he wins quite a bit. And people are nothing but tendencies. So my tendency is to watch Steven win big money and for me to just lose all of mine.
I really like that they had a casino. Like, the casino is attached to the hotel, so like the entrance to the casino is in the hotel lobby. I think it's a nice like touch to the hotel where like you can have like another activity for your trip. It was fun. And also it's like Vegas. The drinks in the casino are free, which was surprising to me because typically if you're not in Vegas, you have to pay for your drinks in the casino, I think.
So speaking of, let's just go hit the casino after this.
Yeah, it's my favorite way to say let's go to the casinos. Hey, let's make up our money on this trip. Whatever we spend on this trip, we're gonna make it tonight.
All in all, I say this trip was a success.
It was a good time.
We were looking at the weather report saying thunderstorms the entire week. I'm gonna be frank, we weren't looking forward to this trip.
Because of
We
the
were looking forward to the
rain and-
wedding.
We were
We're
looking
not
forward to the
looking
wedding.
trip.
We weren't looking forward to the trip just because we were kind of in different places when we were booking and kind of in a different mindset before we even hopped on that plane. But, as soon as the wedding concluded, we had a lot of fun. And I mean,
It was a good time.
we were able to relax and enjoy, the weather and the resort.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I said, as soon as I switched my mind to like what we typically do on vacation to a more relaxed version of the vacation, a resort life vacation, I definitely nestled into a good part. And I also like buying souvenirs.
And winning at the casino.
I like watching people win, I guess. All right, guys, that was our episode. We are on the line and we were on the road here in San Juan.
Oh, yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Enjoy the
If you guys
view.
were interested in checking out this place, I hope we gave you a little bit of review of Puerto Rico, of San Juan itself, and also the La Concha Hotel. That was an amazing wedding we went to. Super cool. was it the
Congrats.
conch? The reception at the conch was,
Yep.
as you can see, right, this thing right here, this thing right here, definitely a super cool reception hall.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to be with like all your family, you know,
Yep.
all kind of celebrating one thing.
Thank you,
Thank
Jen
you.
and Danny.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Welcome
Congratulations again.
to the married life. Thank you so much for inviting us.
We had a
and
blast.
Thanks for making this trip happen. Thanks for watching and joining us today on our San Juan, Puerto Rico special. If you guys like content like this and want more, please check out some of our other social media channels. Follow us. You can find us on those channels by searching at We Are On The Line, and make sure to give us a like, subscribe, leave us a review. It really helps us to continue this podcast, and it's so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next time. Bye. Now, what button do I press?
Did I do that?